We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become?
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
All right, welcome back to 755 Forever. I'm David O'Brien, sleep-deprived beat writer for the Braves beat writer for the Athletic. I'm with my co-host, former Braves reliever Eric O'Flaherty. What's happening, Eric?
Good morning.
At 4:20 a.m. Uber in Chicago is not good, man.
I don't
think
miss that.
it was beat the traffic because that traffic there's nasty right now. They have a couple of lanes closed down on the expressway. And going into Chicago, it was brutal. It was like Atlanta. It was like the perimeter here in the afternoon. It was that bad. 3-day series in Chicago, and the Braves won 2 out of 3. I don't know that I've ever seen a team win a series. I know the teams I've covered going 3 for 31 with runners in scoring position in a series and won the series.
You could probably find a team with some really good pitching that did it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they got good pitching.
Yeah.
Especially from Max Fried. Oh, my God. Where is this guy right now, man? He is going to make a lot of money.
I know. It's like one of those things where you don't want to see him do too well because then he might be gone. But it's kind of been the same thing. It's just been staying healthy. When he's healthy, he might have a little skid here and there, but 95 lefty with that curveball, I think you expect Kershaw type stuff out of him.
Yeah. I mean, just when we say, I haven't seen, it's been a while since a pitcher has been on a run like Chris Sale's on. Then you look at Max Fried's numbers. The only thing that throws his off is he had a couple of starts in there where he gave up like 3 or 4 runs.
Yep.
But the other ones are just ridiculous. In his last 5 starts, he's had, I haven't seen a guy take no hitters through 5, 6, and 7 innings, no hitters.
Mm-hmm.
In a span of 5 starts. That's what he's done. I remember covering Kevin Brown in 96, and it felt like every time he went to the mound, he had no-hit stuff. And he did throw a no-hitter at Candlestick that year. Came up hit by pitch from a perfect game.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like when Max goes out there, and the only thing you think will hold him back is the pitch counts today because he had the one through the Maddox, but he threw a complete game 2 nights ago in Chicago in 105 pitches.
Yeah, you don't see as much separation between pitches. That's what I feel like is the biggest benefit for a guy that's throwing a curveball in today's game. You don't see that separation. You see guys throwing 97 with an 88 mile an hour slider. Now that's a whole beast by itself. That's tough.
Right.
But the separation Max gets between his fastball and his curveball, I'd have to look it up, but it's probably close to 20. It's like 75 to 80, right? And he's throwing 95.
Yeah, you don't see it. You used to see a lot. You used to see a lot of pitchers that were like that. They had the big traditional curveball.
Yep.
12-6 curveball, which is close to that, and a fastball, but you don't see it now. You see, like you said, the hard slider, the variations of it, slurve.
Sweeper,
sweepers, but you don't see many guys that could throw that hook like he does. And
the 12-6 too. You might see that 11 to 5 or whatever you want to call it, but the 12-6 straight down curveball. That's
big left-hander doing it.
Yeah,
he's pretty special, man. They just got word they made the roster move. Well, this is surprising. The Braves recalled Ray Kerr to start tonight. They're going to stretch him out. They got him a little stretched out. He went 65 pitches in that last one where he went 3 1/3. He's starting tonight. They placed Smith Shawver on the 15-day IL with a strained left oblique, which I don't want to say it's a phantom injury, but he showed no signs of that yesterday. and didn't say anything about it afterwards at all. Additionally, the Braves signed infielder Joey Wendell to a major league contract and optioned Luke Williams to AAA Gwinnett.
And we got to look up Wendell's numbers. I think he was a high pick.
Yeah, it wasn't a good weekend for the bench guys. Zach Shorts kind of ran his course, made 2 errors in 2 nights. Luke Williams, So they're going to try to get a little better with their infield, with the backups, and because you still got your third baseman is still on the IL. Austin did a lot of stuff in while we were in Chicago. Each day ramped it up a little bit more, but he still, hit off a tee 2 days ago, did soft tossing. It's like really small increments. He's throwing across the field yesterday, taking ground balls, throwing from the hole and all that. So it's getting closer, but I would think at this stage you might have to take it a couple of rehab games. Meanwhile,
he's missed quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 10 days now. He got hurt on a Sunday, and now we're he's almost 2 weeks. He's coming up on 2 weeks. So the big news, the good news for the Braves was Sean Murphy in his first 2 rehab games at AAA Gwinnett homered in each of them. He homered on the first swing he took in his first AB of his first rehab game after being away for basically 8 weeks, almost 2 months. He hit not just a homer. He homered. He got off the batter's eye, Gwinnett, 440-some feet. He just crushed it.
So he's not feeling timid at all with that thing.
No, and he was supposed to go 4 innings, and he went 7 because he wanted to stay in with the pitcher that night. Logue, that guy, he wanted to stay in with through his game, so he did. Then he set out a game as planned. Then he DH'd last night and had 6 ABs, had a double and a home run. So
be nice to get that back.
I think you're going to see him back when the Braves get back from this road trip starting Monday. I would not be surprised at all if he's back by then.
That'd be a big bat to get back and give, Travis some, not put as much pressure on Travis.
They've gotten real good catching, like we said, from the combo of Darno and Trump while he's been gone. But the bat, the Trump bat's not going to be nearly what Sean Murphy can give you. And Darno, is playing a little bit more than ideal for a guy at 35, that's played, and especially getting hit with in the face mask the other day. And so, it's going to be a big addition back to the middle-ish of the order. I don't know where they're going to put him this year, given what they've got at the bottom of the order. I would say bat more like 6th or 7th, but we'll see. But he's getting near, obviously.
Yeah, so that's the thing that makes this team so rare too. It's like you're almost always, when you're giving your stud catcher a break, you're bringing in a bat that might pepper some singles the other way and calls a good game. But to never have to give anything up at catcher, almost no team can say they do that.
From groan-worthy dad jokes to patching up skinned knees, your dad is one of a kind. This Father's Day, give him a gift that is guaranteed to take him to his happy place. Omaha Steaks. Order mouth-watering gift packages starting at just $89 when you go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code FOREVER at checkout. Each package is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Show your dad the love he deserves with a gift as unforgettable as he is. Visit omahasteaks.com, promo code FOREVER at checkout.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become? Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Did you see Skenes yesterday? The Braves are not going to see Skenes or Jared Jones. They're Pittsburgh studs, so they get kind of fortunate in that one. But
about time.
Skenes only had three strikeouts against the Giants, but I think it was almost a good sign. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, I think, but only 1 run. And so he showed he could do it without just blowing everybody away. He only had 3 strikeouts, I think, which is hard to believe with that stuff, but was night and day from his first 2 starts, which were both against the Cubs, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of times I think when you have the kind of off-speed stuff he has and the fastball, and people are aware that the strikeouts, such a threat, hitters swing early. They try to get that bat over with early before they get deep into counts. So I'm not saying it's easy to do, but it gets a little harder to strike guys out as everybody's seen your stuff and kind of knows your patterns. And, they'll try to put the ball in play as early in the count as they can so they don't get to your off-speed.
The Braves will have both Sale and Lopez going this weekend. So I'll be interested to see what Ray Kerr does tonight. I mean, his stuff looked outstanding in his first 2 relief appearances, which were both like 3-inning jobs. So he's already stretched out enough to go 3 or 4 innings, at least. Maybe if he's efficient, maybe he can get 4 or 5. Guess that depends a little bit on Pittsburgh bats too, but his stuff plays, man. And he's really basically used 2 pitches, fastball and the curve in the relief appearances, but he's got 4 pitches. So I think he said he had, he'll use them all if he needed to. And I think we'll see that obviously when he's starting. It'll be interesting to see what he does, man.
That's what impresses me so much with Iglesias is that he pitches like a starter in the 9th. He comes in with 3 pitches he can throw for strikes every time he pitches, but it's really hard to come out of the pen and have all 3 or find all 3 in that short little window you get. So normally when you come out of the pen, you kind of simplify it and just pick your 2 best and go with it. And, maybe mix in a changeup or something else. But I'm excited to see him too. I mean, he's got a good arm.
Yeah, he's nasty. He's got a guy from San Diego. And when they traded for him, everybody's kind of wondering why they bring another lefty over and they sent him to AAA. But they loved his arm. And we quickly saw he made a couple of appearances in spring training that impressed. But we quickly saw after he got back from AAA the other day why they wanted that arm. He's still a young guy. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of mileage on that arm. He's under control for like 4 more years, 3 or 4 more years. So that was a good deal. That's why they were willing to take Matt Carpenter's contract on in that deal. They had no interest in Matt Carpenter. They just wanted to get Ray Kerr, and it works. It's one of those, Alex thinking outside the box moves. He'll take on a bad contract and in order to, like he took on, extra money to get years of control with Kelenic. And Kelenic's a project, man, but you can see the tools are obviously there, and they've got, the thing is, it's not a rush. They've got those years of control with them, so they can work with him, and they love his attitude. His physical tools are there. I mean, he's still pretty raw, but we've seen. I mean, the defense has been outstanding this year. I mean, Gold Glove caliber defense.
Yeah, and that's something that I don't know that you can train. Like you can't make an adjustment and get that much better at defense, but guys with power can learn how to hit. I thought his stance looked a little different. He looked a lot more relaxed, a little more open, a little bit more of a leg kick, and he looks more powerful at the dish now. It was almost like early in the season he was so committed to not striking out, he was just kind of peppering balls and getting blown up a lot. But the last few times I've watched him, he just looks like a power hitter in the box.
I think it's kind of toggling back and forth between that with that leg kick, because he was frustrated because he wasn't getting any hits when he had a bigger leg kick, and he was worried about the timing of it and trying to hit for power. So he went completely away from that, really wasn't getting much movement at all with his foot, which, that's fine. But then he wasn't hitting for any power at all.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of trying to find the happy medium between those.
Yeah, he's got to find out who he is. And in this game, everybody loves a 330 hitter, but in today's game, if you hit 260 with 25, teams find way more value in that. So every player's kind of got to figure out who they are and who they're going to be. I don't know, something about the way he's standing now. He just looked more comfortable and relaxed and powerful versus almost like a slap hitter early in the season.
Well, he got a ball out yesterday. I didn't think anybody would, the way the wind was blowing in. It blew out the first 2 days, and I was kind of surprised more home runs weren't hit. But yesterday they had like 3 or 4 balls were kept in, including Ozuna's that was caught against the left field wall. That's out without the wind. And Smith Shawver got lucky because a couple of Cubs balls probably would have got out if the wind was blowing out. Smith Shawver, I thought, impressed. The progress he's made since last year, and specifically with that changeup. Everybody looked at the 6 ERA down in AAA and wondered what's wrong with him. But I had somebody with the Braves tell me, no, he's in a good spot. He's working on the changeup. and his fastball is topped out at 100. And now we saw when he came up yesterday, and I asked him about the changeup. He said that's basically all I've worked on in AAA is a changeup. So he hasn't gotten the games and tried to, specifically tried to get outs like you would normally, like you would at this level. He was working on that changeup and not worried so much about the results. So he threw like 20 of them yesterday. Threw the curveball, didn't throw the slider at all. He still has the slider. He just didn't throw it at all. He was throwing the fastball, changeup, and a curveball yesterday. And the fastball topped out at 99.3, threw like 3 or 4 at 99 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's got the stuff. There.
Yeah, he's still a raw kid. People forget he's been throwing for 5. This is the 5th year of pitching for him. Started after his junior year in high school.
And the changeup for me was the toughest pitch to learn. And I think, you'll have a situation where you're slowing your arm down or can't get it out of your hand, and there's a million different grips, and one of them's going to click at some point. And for me, I'd have it one year, like 09, I had a good changeup. 11, I had a good changeup. 12, I had no off speed whatsoever. I mean, every year you're kind of different, but if he's only been pitching for 5-6 years, that's going to take some time. And then the hardest part about it is you can learn it when you're relaxed in the pen, but then you get in the game and you need to throw it 2-2. Yank it. Now we're 3-2 and I got to throw a fastball. It's a tough, guys in AAA can hit. It's not like you just get to go down to AAA and face high school kids. You're facing professional, really good, guys that are on the brink of breaking out and going to the big leagues, and then guys that have been hitting forever and and that's a pitch. The changeup for whatever is like the pitch that it's devastating when you have a good one, but a bad one, like you miss middle into somebody, they know what to do with it. So you don't get away with it. So that makes his numbers make sense because he probably got hurt on it quite a bit learning it.
Yesterday, I marked this down. He starts the game off. 2 of the first 3 batters he struck out swinging at the changeup. Toshman, then Saya Suzuki gets a single, and then Cody Bellinger swinging at the changeup. So, he was off to the races with that in the first inning. Next inning, he struck out Ian Happ looking at a curveball leading off the inning. And he struck out Gomes on a 2-2 fastball way above the zone.
Yeah.
It was like a foot above the zone.
That's what a curveball does, though. If you're looking for it and it starts up there, you start your swing and then it just keeps riding up.
So, there were a lot of impressive parts about that start. He only went 4 1/3, 87 pitches. Maybe the oblique had something to do with that. I thought it was just a matchup. They were getting him out. Got Dylan Lee in.
But they're just getting him out on a good start.
Yeah, the third time through the order thing that I thought it was more that, and it probably was. Maybe he's just a little sore afterwards. But nobody mentioned a word about the.
Look, the last thing you'd want to do. That's why I don't think Phantom with this. The last thing you'd want to do is take a guy that has a really good start he could build on, and then ice him for 2 weeks.
Exactly. I agree.
It smells a little weird, but at the same time, it's like there's no way you'd have a guy. Like you want him back out there after that to build on it.
Yeah, so we'll see. With the pitcher, it's 15 days IL too. It's not 10. And that's, if it's real minor, they can obviously have him throwing again real soon.
And if it's not, that sucks too, to go up and have a good big league start, kind of get the ball rolling and then you get hurt.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Played big football stud in Texas and all that, but quarterback. But he didn't mention it. We'll see. That's surprising. That just came out of nowhere. But anyway, there was a lot. There was some things to like about the Braves' performance there. Matt Olson has gotten 4 homers in like 12 games now after hitting 3 in the first up to that point of the year and like going 26 games, longest of his career without a homer. He's really starting to look more like himself. It should get Austin Riley back. Sean Murphy, obviously, we just talked about him. They're getting him back. Ozuna is showing no signs of letting off at all. He had fallen off the pace as far as the home run league, but got a couple more. So he's back leading the league in homers and tied for the major league lead in RBIs as of yesterday when I looked. Him and Bohm from Philly. Philly on fire, man.
Yeah. I think they're going to be there
on fire. That's one of the best starts ever in the majors for like the last 20-some years. And in Philly's history, they've never had a 50-game, 51-game period like this at any juncture of a season, what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Like over 100 years. They're on fire.
When they're good too, that's a tough park to go play in.
Oh, it's gotten so tough now too. It's like it used to be again. The last couple of 3 years with the postseason. Now they're doing that during the regular season because there was some lean years in Philly where they weren't packing that place. Now it's packed all the time, and their fans are very, very vocal.
Yeah, it's a tough place to go into, and they play well at home. That lineup, that field is such a good hitter's park too. With all those lefty bats, I mean, Schwarber, Stott always surprises me. Harper can go left field, center, right, whatever he wants. I mean, it's a tough. I think they're going to be there. I think they built a lot of confidence the last couple of years, beating the Braves back to back, and now we're going to have a dogfight.
You'll be interested in this. I heard something the other day that due to complaints from opposing teams, baseball is looking at moving that bullpen back.
It's the worst.
The visitors are not directly under that overhang because, they just get abused. Because last year something got thrown at Strider.
Yeah. Well, did you see they had to stop? They did like $1. They did $1 hot dog night.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it because people were buying like 5 hot dogs and just throwing them at visiting players. I mean, that's Philly for you.
So, there was something with Strider last year in the postseason. Or maybe it was this year in the opening series that he got something thrown at him and nearly hit him. But there's been all kinds, as you said, that people, you experienced it. And when they get fired up and the place is packed, it just gets worse and worse. Guys feel like, feeding off that crowd mentality, that mob mentality. So they just push it to the next extreme. And, then it starts just to get unruly.
People get sauced up. They say something funny. It's like they say one thing funny and they get some laughs from everybody around, and then they just want to ride that wave and they just keep going. It's like
to throw something.
I got to the point it didn't bother me. It kind of just turns into like white noise or dogs barking. It's just I don't even hear the words they're saying, but they'll say some stuff. I mean, that's so personal. I mean, they'll Google your mom. that was the worst thing when smartphones came out and you're in the bullpen and they could Google all your family members. They Google my sister. They Google my mom.
Wow.
And you're just, I'm trying to get ready for a game, and you got guys saying what they, we're going to do. It's like, and they're saying your mom and sister's name. It's like, you get really good at just tuning it out, and you have a job to do. But for me, the worst part's just like the second inning. I just want to go get some water. And every time you stand up, there's just 40 drunk guys ready to scream at you. That's why you see relievers when it could be like 95 degrees and they have their pullovers on because they just don't want the attention. They don't want their name out there because as soon as that loudmouth sees your name on the back, he's going to start, zeroing in on you.
Hey, by the way, the last 30 days thing is really interesting now because I told you last week where Sale was. With this run he's been on, it's phenomenal. He's still in that 30-day window. Right now, if you Google or if you look on the MLB stats for the whole league, both leagues, ERA right now, the last 30 days, Chris Sale leads the majors. He's 5-0 with an 0.56 ERA in 5 starts. 43 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 32 innings. He's been unbelievable. And if you click the whip last 5 days, Chris Sale is second behind that Crochet dude they faced the White Sox, the rookie, the big lefty, who we could tell was a stud when they faced the Braves in the first week. Chris Sale second at 0.72. Max Fried sixth at 0.81. This is in the majors in the last 30 days. The opponent's average, first in the majors, Max Fried, 140 opponent's average. In 5 starts over the last 30 days. Got a 2.16 ERA. He's given up 16 hits, 33 innings.
Jesus. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So between the two of them, ERA-wise, Chris Sale's first and Fried's 2.16. He's 14th in the majors. That's because he had a couple starts where he gave up like 3 or 4 runs, and the others were ridiculous. He had the 2, he had the shutout. He had the complete game. He had the no-hitters, 3 no-hitters going to the 5th, 6th, through the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings in a span of 5 starts. I don't think I've ever seen that. I know I've never seen that, especially in this era.
It's the curveball, I think. I mean, he's got his fastball sometimes cuts like a foot, He could throw a changeup. He's got the slider cutter thing too. I mean, he's got a lot of different pitches, but for me, I think it's the curveball. I just don't think hitters see that enough. A good 12-6. They get so used to the hard fastball, the hard slider. You don't see that back and forth with a guy, especially a lefty, like a big lefty curveball. No lefties really see it. When you see lefties out of the pan, it's almost always a slider. Not too many starting pitchers have it. Kershaw's not really, he's not doing it anymore. So I think it's a mix of being a lefty that throws 96 and has an amazing curveball. He's got to be one of the best in the game. But I noticed it too with the curveball when Darvish pitched against the Braves. Some of those really bad swings is like hitters just don't get enough looks at that.
You're right. I mean, it's a throwback. We used to see pitchers like this a lot.
Everybody.
10, 15 years ago. There was the common thing. Now it's the fastball, slider, sweeper guys. And it's not the fastball, curveball, traditional, what it used to be traditional. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah. And even when you saw it, when I came into the game or when I was growing up watching as a kid, those guys with the really good 12-6 curveballs were still low 90s.
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody throwing 96, 97 with a 12-6. And if you were Kerry Wood or somebody like that. I mean, Kerry Wood had more of a sweeping breaking ball, but he's a rare combo, and you just don't get a lot of looks at that curveball in this game.
And Max has, when he's going like he was last night, and what he's been doing lately, he's really got 5 or 6 pitches because he throws different curveballs. He's got the changeup, the slider. He throws the four-seamer, the two-seamer. I mean, he's got a bigger repertoire than anybody, except for Hugh Darvish, obviously, who's got 8 pitches. Yeah. But he's just such a tactician. When you combine him with Darno behind the plate, that's a lot of cerebral functioning going on, in addition to having the terrific stuff. Yeah. And a ballsy pitcher. So it's just a great combination.
Yeah, he can execute everything. I mean, it'd be so much fun if you're a catcher to call a game, because normally catchers are like, here's the right pitch here, but I don't know if he can execute it. Max, you can throw any finger down you want and he can make the pitch. Like, he's one of the rare lefties that can cut and sink his fastball. And I don't know if 100% he tries to cut his fastball when it does it. I think he does. But he can also throw the sinker into lefties, which is just the ultimate neutralizer. But if you could throw a sinker into lefties and make them give up on stuff inside, and then throw a breaking ball off of that, slider and curveball, like they're just, I mean, they're at a point where they just have to look in one spot and hope it winds up there. Because if you're trying to react against Max Fried, you got no chance.
In Chicago, Michael Harris showed some signs of coming out of his funk. He's been in one, man. You don't see, it kind of gets hidden because what's going on with everybody else, the injuries, the other slumps by the marquee guys, the power hitters and all that. But Michael Harris has not been Michael Harris lately. He, even with the good games he had, a couple of good games in Chicago, right now, in the last 30 days, he's got the second lowest average in the majors at 165 among qualifiers. Only Jesse Winker from the Nationals is lower. That's 24 games. He's 15 for 91 with 23 strikeouts and 4 walks. That's not Michael Harris, man. The OPS in that span, lowest in the majors, 461 OPS in 24 games in the last 30 days. So, I mean, it just goes along with this. So many guys that have been in these funks, and he's one we don't even talk about much. But Orlando Arcia, he's at 193 with a 595 OPS in that span. Ronald Acuna. These are 3 guys in the lowest 20 OPS among qualifiers in the major leagues. Ronald Acuna, the last 30 days, 23 games. He's at 204 with a 600 OPS.
Did you see what I was talking about with when he's getting his foot down?
Yeah.
That's something. I mean, I don't offer really any hitting advice ever because I wasn't a hitter, but I was noticing that. Like, it's almost like he's getting his foot down as the ball crosses his plate. And I need to look back at video from like the last 3 years, because he has so much bat speed and his hips are so quick. Maybe he's always done that, but there's a few at bats where I was like, I don't know if he could have even hit that ball fair. Yeah. And
Tommy's just off, man.
Yeah. And those are things that you kind of learn. Like, one thing about making adjustments is sometimes you have to really, really exaggerate it. And I've seen some hitters get out of funks by saying, like, I'm putting my foot down as the pitcher's foot's landing. because
Right.
he looks late to me, but it's so uncomfortable to do because you feel so early and then you're just on time. But like when I was pitching, your muscle memory and your habits, like they get repeated so much that it's easy to get into a funk and hard to get out of it. I would know my arm angle was too high and I would probably drop it. I would feel like I dropped it, 15 degrees and it'd be 1. I think my arm went from high 3/4 to like I'm throwing submarine now. And then I'd go look at video, and that's just how uncomfortable it gets after you repeat it a bunch. I'd look at video and I felt like I was throwing sidearm that day and my arm had dropped like 2 inches maybe. And it felt like 15, 20. So it's like same thing with timing. Like you have to exaggerate it so much and try to be so early, and it feels crazy uncomfortable. And then you look at the video and you're like, shit, I'm just on time now. That's how bad things have gotten. So that might be something that, he could work on, but I'm sure he's got Sighter in his ear.
And then finally, Ozzie Albies too, another one. He's at 237, but the 612 OPS in that span with 1 homer in 24 games, 97 plate appearances, or 97 ABs. So that's 4 guys, 4
Yep.
Braves are in the lowest 24 major league qualifiers in OPS in the last 30 days. It's hard to win when you got half your lineup, and especially the big guys that you're talking about there that are normally some of your key guys.
Well, you think about it, like there's no pressure when everybody's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
And then when nobody's hitting,
They're pressing.
the more guys that kind of scuffle, the more pressure falls on me where it's like, I got to get a knock or we're not scoring. I got to be the guy here. And I think that's why you saw so many guys the last few years kind of outperform what you'd expect from them, is because there was no pressure ever. If I don't get a hit, like the guy behind me's been on a tear and the guy behind him's on a tear. So I'm just going to have an easy at bat, put the ball in play. And those are when you have no pressures, when you get those, put together good at bats.
Whether you're a world-class athlete or a podcaster, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of 755 Forever. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of the EE System yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifiedhealing.com/forever to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/forever. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System.
Everybody talks about Max Fried, and I still hope the Braves somehow find a way to keep him here, because I know he wants to be here, but the money he's going to get a huge contract now if he just stays healthy. But everybody talks about the Dodgers because he's from LA, but I think the Dodgers have got too much money tied up in Shohei and Yamamoto and Glasnow, and they've got a lot of money tied up in these guys.
Yeah.
And if they if Kirsch comes back for another year, and so I don't know that the Dodgers are going to throw $30 million a year at another guy on the other side of 30. But you know who, if they're smart, will? The Cubs.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. He's 4 starts at Wrigley Field. He's like 4-0 with a 1.3 ERA at Wrigley. That's where he made his first start, and he said he loves pitching there. He said, you just walk on this field, and you feel the energy of this place, the history and everything. He loves pitching there. He's 6-0 in 6 starts against the Cubs anywhere, like 1.2 ERA. And he's 4-0 in 4 starts against them at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, that's one of those parks you walk into that's still around from, watching on TV when you were a kid. It just feels
years old.
Yeah, it feels a little different. That one, Fenway, I mean, you walk into those, great. It's like...
And they've renovated. It looks so good. You wouldn't believe
it's unreal.
Have you seen the clubhouses, what they've done since?
Yeah. Yeah, Rossi
compared
took
to
me
what it
over to
used
the
to be.
home side one time when we played him, and it was like, this is now the nicest. That place used to be a dump.
Right.
Did you ever
And
walk down that tunnel from the
Oh, my God.
clubhouse? It was like just a damp concrete just maze.
And now you
Dark.
wouldn't even remember that was there.
There was doorways. You're like, I don't know what's behind it. They had one doorway that was just a big piece of plywood covering a hole. It was like, I don't even have the balls to peek in there and see what's in that tunnel.
So the visiting clubhouse was like a year or two after the home clubhouse.
Yep.
But they just totally renovated it too. Those rickety wood stairs you have to used to take to the dugout, all gone. Now it's a nice rubberized surface all the way down. They dug out underneath the stands. So that little hallway that used to go to the dugout, there's huge batting cages in there now. And
No way.
they just dug out like they did at Dodger Stadium. They dug out all underneath the stadium, put batting cages in there. So you walk down now, you take a left, going down the steps from the clubhouse, you take a left, there's a huge, like big batting cages, like much bigger than what they have at Truist Park.
Really?
For the visiting team. Oh, yeah. Truist is basically 2 wide, I think. Theirs is like 3 or 4 wide. There's a meeting room. And then you take another turn. You go out to the dugout. They renovated the dugouts. They expanded the dugouts. They modernized those. They're not the old small dugout anymore. It's real wide with the second row of seats in the front. I mean, they've done a great job of modernizing it without doing anything to the aesthetics of the stadium. They really have done a good job. And they have, of all the places, to have a sports book attached to the stadium. You can enter the sports book from the lower concourse, walk directly into the sports book from the concourse, and place bets.
Oof. That's tough. That's
during a
trouble.
game if you wanted to. And it's right by the visiting clubhouse, by the way. Right by it. It's 100 feet from the clubhouse door.
Yeah, it's not good.
So, but yeah, between Max Fried, I mean, you got to think Dansby Swanson will tell him, if he does become a free agent, we got to get this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they treat you. I know they treat their players really well too. I mean,
like the
had
Braves
some buddies
do.
play there, and it's like they take everything. I think it came from Theo coming over from Boston, but it was like the clubbies were grocery shopping for their wives, like trying to make everything as easy as possible and really investing into that side of all we want you to worry about is baseball. That's
a nice place to live if you got a lot of money.
Chicago?
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah, you can live right there on the lakefront.
Mm-hmm.
Not far from the ballpark if you want to. In one of those high rises. Maddox did when he played there. He lived in one of those high rises.
Oh, he did?
When he was single, yeah.
Every time I'd visit there, we'd go in like May or June or July, and from the field you drive by Lake Michigan where they got that fake beach. Yeah. And you're driving by and you're going, game 25 in a row.
It's so nice.
Can't go, can't check it out. But I'd say to everybody every time, like, man, this is the best city. And they'd say, come check back in January.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be there in January. Well, that's the great thing about playing baseball there, though.
Only
you don't have to be there. It's not like
Yeah.
playing basketball and football there.
You get to be a snowbird.
You get to leave when it gets cold.
Yep.
So, yeah, if the Cubs are smart, I hope the Braves re-sign him. I really do. But if the Cubs are smart, they'll go after him if he doesn't. And then Kelnick, talk about loving Wrigley Field. This kid, he's played 5 games there. He's homered in 4 of those games.
He's from the Midwest, right?
He's from Wisconsin, right up the road. He used to watch. He used to watch a lot of Cubs games on TV. He didn't go to the games in person because he went to Milwaukee games. But like the Brewers were always playing the Cubs on TV, and he always watched Cubs games. So he said it's a place you grow as a kid. You dream of playing there, that kind of thing. So he had it was only 8 family and friends this time, but he's had more there last year when he was there with Seattle because it was the first time he'd been there. But yeah, he's homered in 4 of the 5 games he's played there and had a double in the other one. I think he's like the 4th visiting player ever to have extra base hits in each of his first 5 games there.
Yeah, some parks, it's different for every player. I hated pitching in that park. I don't know what it was. It's probably warming up. I mean, when you warm up at Wrigley, you're like 5 feet from the fan. So they got the bullpen indoors now. But
now they're under. You don't even see them.
It's just
the bullpens. Used to be right against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just right there.
Crazy.
So, and there's no bathroom. I hate when there's no bathroom in the bullpen. You got to jog by, and nobody ever doesn't yell at you when you're trying to just do your job. But it's something about the mound there. I just never felt like something was crooked or off. But every stadium's different. Like Philly for me was so comfortable. other ones aren't. But each guy kind of has their park that, they love. And if you get a chance to play for that and do it every day, it's nice.
You know that as Nitkowski pointed out, I think he did on the air, but I know he did he did on the air. Do you know what you're talking about, off balance or off kilter, not centered? Do you know it's not centered, right? If you look at the field, at the diamond.
Yeah.
If you look at foul territory behind home plate, and you don't notice it until you look.
I do. I can't. If my catch partner doesn't line up in a direct line,
right,
I lose it. I can't throw crooked. So there's certain stadiums like San Francisco had the bullpen down the right field line,
right,
but the foul line didn't line up with the line you were throwing to the plate on. That jacks me up. I think every stadium should do it. But yeah, so that's good for me to hear, because Wrigley always felt crooked to me.
So I've looked at the pictures. I've taken 100 pictures of Wrigley Field from the stands, from the press box, and I've never noticed that. And when Nitkowski said it, I looked and I'm like, holy shit, how have I never noticed that? So look at a picture, like one of the ones I posted, or Andy, just Google a picture of Wrigley Field and look at where the lines come into home plate to the batter's box, and how the foul territory is different on the visiting side and the home side. It's not centered.
I'm telling you that jacks me up.
So your feeling was right.
I see it now.
So your feeling was right.
If there's something like, and I'm telling you, man, I don't know if it's my wife thinks.
I never noticed that. I don't know how I never noticed that. It's so weird.
So when something like that's for me, and I get on a mound and there's not like these straight lines and stuff, I think just trying to set my lanes. If something's crooked or off, I hate pitching in those parks.
I'd never noticed it. I didn't know any park was like that.
It's crazy you said that, though, because I just had that. I never looked at the picture to check.
I thought you knew when you said it was off balance, off kilter. Not
no, I had no clue.
Yeah, Nitkowski mentioned it, so he obviously noticed the same thing. So, by the way, Northwestern is going to play a couple of football games this year. They're at Wrigley, like the Bears used to.
Yeah,
because Northwestern Stadium is being demolished. They're renovating. They're building a new one, so they're going to play a couple of their games there. When they played that bowl game there a few years ago, the end zone, the problem is it's not the configuration is a little different than when the Bears played there. So now the end zone, it either cut off a corner of it or it went right up against the wall. But if you're a wide receiver catching a pass, trying to keep your feet in, you would smash into the wall. There's no space at all. None.
That wouldn't be comfy.
So, yeah, it's not ideal now. It used to be different when the Bears played there. That something about the stands wasn't the same. So the Bears played there for I don't know how many years, but Gale Sayers played a couple of years there. All right, well, Braves got 3 in Pittsburgh, and then they come home for Memorial Day game in the afternoon on Monday against the Nats, right? They got 3 against Pittsburgh, then they got 4 against the Nats here. Weird scheduling with the Nats. They played 2 4-game series against the Nationals in a span of 2 weeks. So 8 games against the Nationals.
It's always tough because you hope you don't catch these certain teams when they're hot. Right. You hope you get a bad team when it's really bad. And when you play them, you sometimes seems like you bang out all your games against them in a month. And happens to be their month they're hot, and you're whoever you're chasing in your division or is chasing you gets them when they're cold. That used to be the problem with interleague.
They're playing them 2 4-game series in literally in a span of 2 weeks. They're playing the 27th through the 30th, 4 games. Then they got 3 against Oakland, then 2 against Boston, then 4 more at Nationals Park. So 8 out of 13 games are against the Nationals. That's weird. All right. Anyway, all right, I'm going to find out what's going on with Smith Shawver and these guys. But so we got Ray Kerr to look forward to tonight. That should be interesting to watch him, see how far he can go against the Pirates. But we appreciate it, everybody. Thanks for watching us on 755 Forever on YouTube and giving us good reviews and subscribing and all that. We appreciate it. Thanks. We are out.
Everyone is talking about magnesium. It's all you hear about. But why? What do we know about magnesium? Well, magnesium is the #1 mineral that 75% of Americans are deficient in. If you are a woman over 35, magnesium will help you rediscover balance, energy, and vitality. Magnesium supports more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those involved in hormonal balance. From functional medicine doctors to mental well-being and female hormone experts, we all know that magnesium is the one mineral to improve all aspects of well-being and health. But which one? Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, the trusted choice recommended by leading experts with 7 best-absorbed forms of magnesium to ensure your body receives the support it needs for overall well-being. Go to bioptimizers.com/balance today and use code BALANCE10 for 10% off. Support your journey to wellness at bioptimizers.com/balance. Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, your foundation to optimal health and vitality.